Hello, my dear students. A very warm welcome to all of you in Shri Jayendra Rank Zone. I am your friend and mentor for the subject Business Economics. In this lecture, we'll continue with Economics Chapter 5, that is Business Cycles. We are continuing with multiple choice questions. Let us begin. This is lecture number 7. And we are doing some more practice of multiple choice questions. Question number 1. The term business cycle refers to the term business cycles refers to the ups and downs in production of commodities, the fluctuating levels of economic activity over a period of time. C. Declining in economic activities over prolonged period of time. Or D. Increasing unemployment rate and diminishing rate of savings. It is B. The fluctuating levels of economic activity over a period of time. Question 2. The economy-wide fluctuations in production, trade, and general economic activity is referred to what? A. Business cycles. B. Economic cycle. C. Boom-bust cycle. Or D. All of the above. The economy-wide fluctuations in production, trade, and general economic activity is referred as all of the above. That is business cycle also, economic cycle also, and boom bust cycle also. So all of the above. 2D. 2D. Question 3. Greatest depression suffered by economy is in which year? I think you will be able to answer it easily. The greatest depression suffered by economy is in which year? A. 1924. B. 1930. C. 2008. And D. 2009. It is B. 1930. It is B. 1930. Question 4. Let us see question 4. Which is not related to Great Depression of 1930? Which is not related to Great Depression of 1930? A. Instated in US. B. John Maynard Keynes regarded lower aggregate expenditure as the cause. C. Excess money supply is not related. Or D. A and B. That means John Maynard Keynes and instated US. It is C. Excess money supply. It is C. Excess money supply is not related with the depression of 1930. The depression of 1930. Let us see question number 5 now. The questions relates to the phases of business cycles. The business cycle or the periodic boom and slump in economic activities reflect the dash in economic activities. The business cycles or in periodic booms and slumps in economic activities reflect the dash in economic activities. Upward movement in economic activities, downward movement in economic activities, upward movement also and downward movement also in economic activities, or extreme rise in economic activities. It is upward and downward movement in economic activities. Upward and downward movement in economic activities. Downward movement in economic activities. Question number 6. Select the odd one out. Select the odd one out. A. Expansion. B. Boom. C. Upswing. And D. Through. So expansion, boom and swing are altogether common, but D is odd one out because through means depression. Through means depression. A situation of depression. 6D. 6D. Question number 7. Dash represent the steady growth lien or the growth of the economy when there is no business cycles. Dash represent the steady growth lien or the growth of the economy when there is no business cycles. A. Peak. B. Trend. C. Depression. Or D. Expansion. Or D. Expansion. Trend represent. Now you read it. Trend represent the steady growth lien or the growth of the economy when there is no business cycles. Trend. B. So 7B. Trend. 7B. Trend. Question number 8. Question number 8. The four phases of business cycles are A. Peak. B. Recession. A. Peak, recession, through and boom. B. Peak, depression, through and boom. C. Peak, recession, through and recovery. Or D. Peak, depression, burst and boom. It is C. Peak, recession, through and recovery. 8C. Let's see question number 9. Let's see question number 9. Dash state continues till there is full employment of resources and production is at its maximum possible level using available productive resources. Which state continues till there is full employment of resources? Full employment of resources and production and its maximum possible level using available productive resources. It is A. Expansion state continues. It is A. Expansion state continues. I believe you understood. Question 10. The different phases of business cycle. Question 10. The different phases of business cycle. A. Do not have the same length and severity. B. Expansion phase always lasts more than 10 years. C. Last many years and are difficult to get over in short periods. Or D. None of the above. Or D. None of the above. The different phases of business cycle. A. Do not have the same length and severity. Do not have is crucial over here. Do not have is crucial over here. Question 11. In dash phase, the overall economic activities, that is production and employment, are at the lowest level. In which phase the overall economic activities, production and employment are at the lowest level? A. Expansion. B. Through. C. Peak. Or D. Bottom. It's B. Through or depression. At through phase, the overall economic activities are at the lowest level. Question 12. Question 12. Peaks and troughs of the business cycle is collectively known as what? Is collectively known as what? A. Volatility. B. Turning points. C. Equilibrium points. Or D. Real business cycle events. It's B. The turning points. It's B. The turning points. Or this is through, this is peak, this is through, this is peak. I believe you understood. This is peak, and this is through. This is through. This is peak. Question number 13. Next question. The expansion phase is characterized by high growth rate. What is the next phase for expansion? 13. The expansion phase is characterized by high growth rate. What is the next phase after expansion? A. Peak. B. Contraction. C. Downstream. Or D. None of the above. It's A. Peak. After expansion, it's peak. So see, this is the expansion phase. And over here, this is the peak phase. Then again down, then through, then expansion. I believe you understood. 13A. Peak. The next question, question 14. Question 14. Which of the following does not occur during an expansion? Which of the following does not occur during an expansion? A. Consumer purchases of all types of goods tend to increase. B. Employment increase as demand for labor rises. C. Business profits and employment confidence tend to increase. Or D. None of the above. Or D. None of the above. Which of the following does not occur during an expansion phase? A. Consumer purchases of all types of goods tend to increase. B. Employment increases as demand for labor rises. C. Business profits and business confidence tend to increase. Or D. None of the above. It's D. None of the above. It's D. None of the above. Just see it over here. Which of the following is not occur during an expansion? Consumer purchases all types of goods tend to increase. It's not like that. Employment increases as demand for labor rises. It's not like that. Demand for labor rises. It's not like that. Business profits and business confidence tend to increase. Or D. None of the above. The answer is none of the above. Question 15. The next question. Which phase is the highest point of the business cycle? A. Upswing. B. Downswing. C. Peak. Or D. Through. Which phase is the highest point of the business cycle? A. Upswing. B. Downswing. C. Peak. Or D. Through. It's C. Peak is the highest point. Is the highest point. This is nothing but peak. This is through. The next question. Question number 16. Dash is the turning point and the beginning of recession. Question 16. Dash is the turning point and the beginning of recession. A. Contraction. B. Depression. C. Upswing. Or D. Boom. It's A. Contraction. Contraction is the turning point and beginning of recession. Contraction is the turning point and beginning of recession. Question 17. Question 17. A significant decline in general economic activity exceeding over a period of time is A. Business cycle. B. Contraction phase. C. Recovery. C. Recession. Or D. Recovery. A significant decline in general economic activity extending over a period of time is C. Recession. It's C. Recession. Question 18. When aggregate economic activity is declining, the economy is said to be in what? When aggregate economic activity is declining, the economy is said to be in what or in which situation? A. Contraction. B. An expansion. C. Through. Or D. Turning point. It's A. Contraction. It's A. Contraction. When aggregate economic activity is declining, the economy is said to be in contraction. Next question. Question number 19. Economic recession shares all of these characteristics except recession shares all of these characteristics except A. Fall in the level of investment and fall in the level of employment. B. Income of wage and interest earner gradually decline, resulting in decreased demand for goods and services. C. Investor confidence is adversely affected and new investment may not be forthcoming. Or D. Increase in the price of inputs due to increased demand for inputs. Increase in the price of inputs due to increased demand for inputs. Economic recession shares all of these characteristics except D. Increase in the price of inputs due to increased demand for inputs. Nothing like that happens in case of recession. Nothing like that happens in case of recession. If you see the first point, fall in the level of investment and employment is a part of recession. Incomes of wages and interest earners gradually decline, yes, resulting in decreased demand for goods and services. C. Investor confidence is adversely affected. They don't want to invest in the times of recession and new investment opportunities may not be forthcoming. Yes. So D. Increase in the price of inputs due to increase in demand of inputs. Let's see the next question. Question number 20. Question number 20. Which one of the following is not a feature of contraction? Is not a feature. Which one of the following is not a feature of contraction? That means out of these four, three are the features of contraction. First feature, decrease in inputs demand pull input price down. Decrease in input demand pulls input price down. B. Increase in the wage and interest earns gradually decline. C. Producers lower their prices in order to dispose of their investments. Or it's D. Business firms become optimistic about future state of economy. Not a feature of contraction. D. Business firms become optimistic about future state of economy is not a feature of contraction. Let us see the first feature. Decrease in input demand pulls input price down. In case of contraction, the demand for input is less and that is why the price of input is also coming down. Second, increase of wages and interest earner gradually declines. In case of contraction, this also happens. C. Producer lower their prices in order to dispose of their inventories. This is also possible, but it may happen. It happens that with the when the producer lower their prices and still they want to dispose of this inventory, but still they don't get buyers for their inventory because the general public don't want to spare money or don't want to invest money or don't want to demand or buy some products. I believe it is clear. Let us see the next question. Question 21. During recession, the unemployment rate dash and output dash. During recession, the unemployment rate dash and output dash. A. Unemployment rate rises and output falls. B. Unemployment rate rises and output also rises. C. Unemployment rate falls and output rises. or D, unemployment rate falls and output also falls? Question 21. So it's A, unemployment rate rises and output falls. During recession, the unemployment rate rises and output falls. I believe you understood this. This is clear to all of you. Question number 22. Question number 22. Dash phase of business cycle marks the end of pessimism and the beginning of optimism. Dash phase of business cycle marks the end of pessimism and beginning of optimism. A. Recovery, B. Depression, C. Upswing, or D. Downswing. Recovery phase of business cycle marks the end of pessimism and the beginning of optimism. A. 22A recovery. 22A recovery. Question number 23. The next question. The through of business cycle occurs when dash hits its lowest point. The through of business cycle occurs when dash hits its lowest point. A. Inflation of the economy. B. The money supply. C. Aggregate economic activity. Or D. The unemployment rate. It's C. The aggregate economic activity hits its lowest point. The through of the business cycle occurs when the aggregate economic activity hits its lowest point. I believe you understood. Next question, question number 24. The lowest point in the business cycle is referred to as the A. Expansion, B. Boom, C. Peak, or D. Through. A. Expansion, B. Boom, C. Peak, or D. Through. Lowest point is known as through, that is depression. Lowest point in the business cycle is known as dash, that is depression or through. Next question, question 25. The period 1929 to 1933 is cited for dash of the world economy. The period 1929 to 1933 is cited for dash of the world economy. A. The Great Depression of the world economy. B. The Great Recovery of the world economy. C. The Great Upswing of the world economy. Or D. The Great Downswing of the world economy. 1929 to 1933. It's the Great Depression of the world economy. It's the Great Depression of the world economy. Next question. Question 26. In recovery phase of business cycle, the process of reversal is initially felt in which stage? In recovery phase, the business cycle, the process of reversal is initially felt in the dash. A. Capital market, B. Labor market, C. Production level, or D. Financial market. It's B. The labor market. The recovery phase, the business cycle, the process of reversal is initially felt in the labor market. Question 27. Boom and depression in the business cycle are A. Turning points, B. Equilibrium points, C. Both A and B, or D. None of the above. So boom and depression in the business cycles are known as turning points, like this. Turning points. This is peak, boom, and this is through, that is depression, so this is known as turning points, from up to down, from down to up. This is known as turning points. Next question, question number 28. Which of the following is not the phase of business cycle? So there are 4 phases listed over here. Just think about the 4 phases and just identify then which phase is not a phase of business cycle. A. Prosperity, B. Upswing, C. Reconstruction, or D. Depression. There is no such phase known as reconstruction. Prosperity is a phase, upswing is a phase, depression is a phase, but there is no such phase known as reconstruction. Recovery is a phase, but reconstruction is not a phase. I believe you understood. Let us see the next question. So this question number 28 has been asked in CPT May 2019 exam. It's asked in the latest. Let's see question number 29. Question number 29. Which of the following is not an example of coincident indicator? Which of the following is not an example of coincident indicator? Coincident indicator is also known as concurrent indicator. Is also known as concurrent indicator. A. Industrial production, B. Inflation, C. Retail sales, or D. New order for plants and equipments. Which of the following is not an example of coincident indicator? It's D. New orders for plants and equipment. I believe all of you must be able to give this answer. New orders for plant and equipment is not an example of coincident indicator or concurrent indicator. Is it okay with you? Let's move ahead with question number 30. Leading economic indicators. Leading economic indicators A. Are used to forecast probable shift in economic policies. B. Are generally used to forecast economic fluctuations. C. Are indicators of shock prices existing in its economy. Or D. Are indicators of probable recession and depression. Leading indicators. So leading economic indicators are B. Are gradually used to forecast economic fluctuations. Are generally used to forecast economic fluctuations. Let's move ahead with question number 31. The next question. A leading indicator is A. A variable that tend to move along with the level of economic activity. B. A variable that tend to move in advance of aggregate economic activity. C. A variable that tend to move consequent on the level of aggregate economic activity, or it's D. None of the above. A leading indicator is B. A variable that tend to move in advance, that move in advance of aggregate economic activity. So it is B. Just refer the point number A. A variable that tends to move along. No, it's don't move along. It's move in advance with the level of economic activity. Or C. The variable that tends to move consequent of a level of economic activity. No, it's move in advance of the aggregate economic activity. So it's B. 31B. Let's move ahead. Let's see question number 32 now. Let's refer question number 32. A variable that tends to move later than aggregate economic activity is called what? A variable that tends to move later than economic activity, aggregate economic activity, is called what? A leading indicator. B. A coincident indicator. C. A lagging indicator. Or it's D. A cyclical indicator. A variable that tends to move later, than aggregate economic activity. The word later is significant over here. The word later is important. It's C, a lagging variable. A lagging variable. Now read it carefully. A variable that tends to move later than aggregate economic activity is called a lagging variable. It's not leading. Leading move in advance. It's lagging variable. 32C. 32C. Let us move to the next question. Question number 33. Question 33. Which of the following best describes a typical business cycle? Which of the following best describes a typical business cycle? A. Economic expansions are followed by economic contractions. Economic expansions are followed by economic contractions. B. Inflation is followed by rising income and unemployment. C. Economic expansions are followed by economic growth and development. Or D. Stagflation is followed by inflationary economic growth. It's obviously A. Economic expansions are followed by economic contraction, and that is why it is known as business cycle. Up and down, up and down. Expansion, contraction. Getting it? So it would be expansion, peak, contraction, depression, expansion, peak, contraction, decretion, depression, and so on. Let us see question number 34. Which of the following is true about leading indicators? Which of the following is true about leading indicators? A. Measurable economic factors. B. Changes after real output. C. Both A and B. Or D. None. Or D. None. A. Measurable economic factors. A. Measurable economic factors. This is true about leading indicators. Question 35. Question 35, the next question. Last stage of recession is called A. Depression. B. Recovery. C. Slowdown. Or D. All of the above. All of you must be able to answer this. Last stage of recession is called A. Depression. A. Depression. Question 36. The next question. When once peak is reached, increase in demand is salted, then dash phase begins. When once peak level is reached, increase in demand is salted, then dash phase begins. A. Through, that is depression phase begins. B. Contraction phase begins. C. Expansion phase begins, or D. Trend. After peak, when peak is reached, contraction phase begins. Contraction phase begins. After contraction, it's through. That is depression. After depression, it's again expansion, then peak, then contraction, then through, then again expansion, and all of this together will show us what? Trend. Show us what? Trend. Let us see next question. All these questions have been asked in the examination, previous year papers, my dear students. So these questions have been already asked in the previous year papers. Let us see question number 37. Which of the following macroeconomic variables would you include in an index of leading economic indicators? I repeat, which of the following macroeconomic variables would you include in an index of leading economic indicators? A. Employment, B. Inflation, C. Real interest rate, or D. Presidential investment, or D. Presidential investment. It's D. Presidential investment. Which of the following of macroeconomic variables would you include as the index of leading economic indicators? Leading economic indicators. Presidential investment. Question 38. An economic variable that moves in an opposite direction as aggregate economic activity, down in expansions, up and contraction, is called an economic variable that moves in the opposite direction as aggregate economic activity, down in expansion, up in contraction, is called what? Is called counter-cyclical. It's called counter-cyclical. So these economic activity down in expansion and up in contraction, counter-cyclical. Let us see question number 39. Question number 39. Fashion retailer is business of A. Cyclical business, B. Sunrise business, C. Sluggish business, or D. None of these. A. Cyclical business. Fashion retailer is a business of A. Cyclical business. Expansion will come, peak will come, contraction will come, depression will come, again expansion will come. I believe you understood. Let us see question number 40, the next question. Rampant unemployment is found in A. Boom, B. Recovery, C. Contraction, or D. Depression. It's D. Depression. It's D. Depression. See what happens in case of rampant employment. You can say that the people are not suitable for certain jobs, or they are not able to fill up the job vacancies, and that is possible in case of depression. Let us move ahead. Question 41. Question 41. The next question. Economic activities will be declining in the phase of Economic activities will be declining in the phase of A. Expansion, B. Depression, C. Contraction, or D. Peak. Economic activities will be declining in the phase of expansion, depression, C. Contraction, C. Contraction. So in the phase of contraction. I believe you understood. Let us see the next question. Question 42. Question 42. In the later stage of expansion, inputs are difficult to find as they are dash of their demand, and therefore an input prices dash. In the later stages of expansion, inputs are difficult to find as they are dash of their demand, short of their demand, excess of their demand, short of their demand, or excess of their demand, and their demand, and therefore the input prices dash. Input prices increases, decreases, or decreases. So these are the options available to you. A. Short, increase. That means short in the case what? That short of inputs are difficult to find as they are short of their demand, and therefore the input prices increases. Or B. Excess, increases. C. Short, decreases. Or D. Excess, decreases. It's A. Short and increases. Short and increases. Now read it carefully. In the later stage of expansion, inputs are difficult to find as they are short of their demand, and therefore input prices increase. Let us see the next question. Question 43. The economy cannot continue to grow endlessly. Okay. Once peak is reached, dash in demand is halted and starts dash in certain sectors. A. Increase, decreasing. B. Decrease, increasing. C. Increase, increasing. Or D. Decrease, decreasing. The economy cannot continue to grow endlessly. Once peak is reached, it's A. Increase in demand. Increase in demand is halted and dash starts decreasing in certain sector. Because what happened after the expansion, the peak is reached, the contraction stage starts. So obviously once the peak is reached, increase in demand is halted and starts decreasing. Question 44. The next question, question 44. Dash is the severe form of dash. Dash is the severe form of dash. Depression is the severe form of recovery. B. Depression is the severe form of recession. C. Recession is the severe form of depression. Or D. Recession is the severe form of recovery. It is B. Depression is the serious form of recession. Depression is the severe form of recession. I believe you understood. I believe you understood this. Let us continue to question number 45. The Great Depression of dash The Great Depression of dash is still cited for the enormous misery and human sufferings it caused. The Great Depression of dash is still cited for enormous misery and human sufferings it caused. A. 1929 to 1930. B. 1929 to 1931. C. 1929 to 1932. Or it's D. 1929 to 1933. I think all of you would be able to answer this. It's D. 1929 to 1933. The Great Depression of 1929 to 1933. 20th century. Let us continue. Question number 46. Which of the following statement is not true, that is false? Which of the statement is false or not true? A. No economy follows a perfectly timed cycle. A. No economy follows a perfectly timed cycle. B. Business cycles vary in intensity and length. C. There is no set pattern which business cycle follows. Or D. Every business cycle has relatively longer period. Every business cycle has a relatively longer period. So over here we have to see which is false, which is not true, which is wrong. No economy follows a perfectly timed cycle. Yes, it is correct. Business cycles vary in intensity and length. Yet it is correct. There is no set pattern of business cycle. Yes, it is correct. It's D. Every business cycle has relatively longer period. It's not like that. So it's D, that every business cycle has relatively longer period. It's not like that. I believe you understood till here. I believe you understood. So we have done basically all the questions. We have done all the questions of introduction stage, and after introduction we shifted to phases of business cycle. So introduction and the phases of business cycle is covered. Let us continue. Let us continue further and see the questions related to features of business cycles. The questions related to features of business cycles. Question 47. Industries that are extremely sensitive to the business cycle are A. The durable goods and service sectors. B. Non-durable goods and service sectors. C. Capital goods and non-durable goods sectors. Or D. Capital goods and durable goods sectors. Industries that are extremely sensitive to the business cycles are D. Capital goods and durable goods sectors. Capital goods and the durable goods sectors. Question 48. The next question, question 48. Business cycle occurs A. Periodically. B. In different phases. C. Both A and B. Or D. None of the above. Or D. None of the above. The business cycle occurs periodically and different phases. It's C, that is both A and B. It's C, that is both A and B. Question 49. Features of business cycles include A. Discuss periodically. B. Have more different phases. C. Originate in free market economy. Or D. All of the above. Or D. All of the above. Features of business cycle includes A. Discuss periodically. Okay. Have four different phases. Yes. Originate in free market economy. Yes. That means the answer is D. All of the above. 49D. All of the above. Question 50. Question 50. The next question. Which of the following is not a characteristics of business cycle? Which of the following is not a characteristics of business cycle? A. Business cycles have serious consequences on the well-being of the society. B. Business cycles occur periodically although they do not exhibit the same regularity. C. Business cycles have uniform characteristics and causes. Or D. Business cycles are contagious and unpredictable. Or D. Business cycles are contagious and unpredictable. Which of the following is not a characteristics of business cycles? A. Business cycles have serious consequences on well-being of the society. Yes. B. Business cycles occur periodically. Yes. Do not exhibit the same regularity. Yes. C. Business cycles have uniform characteristics and causes. No. No. 50C. The answer is 50C. Question 51. Which is not the characteristic feature of expansion phase in business cycle? A. Increase in national output. B. Unemployment. C. Rise in price and cost. Or D. Boost in business confidence. Which is not the characteristic feature of expansion phase of business cycle? Unemployment is not the characteristic feature of expansion phase in business cycle. So question 51B. 51B. Let us move ahead and see question number 52. Business cycles are exceedingly complex phenomena because A. They do not have uniform characteristics and causes. B. They are caused by varying factor. C. It is difficult to make an accurate prediction of trade cycles before their occurrence. Or D. All of the above. The question is business cycles are exceedingly complex phenomena because D. All of the above. All the three situations are correct over here. So the answer is D. All of the above. Question 53. Repercussions of business cycle get simultaneously felt on the economic variable. Repercussions of business cycle get simultaneously felt on economic variable. A. Output and employment. B. Investment and consumption. C. Interest, trade and price level. Or D. All of the above. Or D. All of the above. Repercussions of business cycle get simultaneously felt on economic variable, on investment and consumption, output and employment, interest, trade and price level. So the answer is D. All of the above. So the answer is D. All of the above. Let us see question number 54 now. Question number 54. Business cycles have dash consequences on the well-being of the society. Business cycles have dash consequences on the well-being of the society. A. Some consequences. B. Serious consequences. C. No consequences. Or D. Moderate consequences. B. Serious consequences. Business cycles have serious consequences on the well-being of the society. Next question. Question number 55. What is incorrect about business cycle? That means what is false about business cycle? What is false about business cycle? A. They occur periodically. B. They exhibit same regularity. C. The duration of cycles vary. Or D. The intercity of fluctuations also varies. Over here, A. They occur periodically. So yes, business cycles occur periodically. B. They exhibit same regularity. No, they don't exhibit same regularity. So the answer is B. Question 55B. C. The duration of cycles vary. Yes, they have a different duration of cycles. Or D. The intercity of fluctuations also varies. Yes. The intensity of fluctuations also varies. I believe you understood till here. I believe you understood. Let us see question number 56. The next question, question 56. The disturbance in one or more sectors dash other sectors. The disturbance in one or more sectors dash other sectors. A. Do not affect. That means the disturbance in one or more sectors do not affect other sectors. B. Equally affect other sectors. C. Gets easily transmitted to all other sectors. Or D. None of the above. The disturbance in one or more sectors is C. Gets easily transmitted to all other sectors. Get easily transmitted. Gets easily transmitted to all other sectors. I believe you must have understood till here. I believe you understood. So students, basically we had seen about the features of business cycle. We have seen about the introduction of business cycle in detail, and we had also seen the phases of business cycle. So all the MCQs have been covered that has been came in the previous past papers. The multiple choice question that was a part of the previous past papers, all the MCQs has been covered till here of these three topics. For the rest of the topics, we'll continue in the next class. We are stopping here. We'll continue from here in the next class now. Thank you. Thank you.